The next speaker I have is another gentleman who fights to the death in this state, like myself, except he's louder than me. Put your hands together. Chris Pinto, he's the head of the Mass Gun Rights.
How you doing? My name is Chris Pinto, and I am a gun rights activist. And I'm ready to fight the good fight. A lot of people don't like me because I tell the truth. And I'm going to tell you some harsh truths today. This whole thing is a numbers game. Who has the votes? Okay? I don't put any credit in ratings or endorsements from some so-called gun rights organizations. I'm going to tell you some really bad news here today. But before I do, I just want to read a short quote to help you understand what just happened to us last week. And because of my age, although the State House website wants me to get on their Wi-Fi. Isn't that nice? The liberties of people never were, nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. As from Patrick Henry, the gentleman who said, "Give me liberty or give me death." That is exactly what happened this week inside that building. On Thursday, they were in an informal session and they approved the final language of the bump stock crank trigger bill, which comes with a life sentence if you possess one. Now let me explain to you what an informal session is very briefly, because we got some other people that are legislators here that know the system better than I do. So let's give you a little bit of political wonkiness. Formal sessions are usually held on Wednesdays. When formal sessions are held, everyone is required to be there. Informal sessions can be held any other day. They are typically used for naming a square or greeting dignitaries and taking pictures with them. Generally, there might be, and I'm told if I said there were 5 people there on Thursday, it might be an overestimate. So with 5 legislators in the room, they passed a law that could face you up to a life sentence for owning a piece of plastic. Not for committing a crime, but for owning an object. And they think that doing this is going to fix the system. It's going to stop evil people from committing evil things and killing people in large numbers. So while we might have lots of people that have high ratings with gun rights organizations, the reality is it's much worse than that. There are 160 House representatives and 40 state senators. In the House, our numbers that are truly on our side are 10. Literally 10 people who will stand up for a budget amendment roll call vote if it's on our side. Let me give you an example. Mark Lombardo has 2 bills. One is called an act relative to firearms regulation. If that bill passes, Maura Healey can't decide which manufacturers can sell guns in this state. It takes her power under product safety away from her. The other one, I believe, is called an act relative to the definition of assault weapons. I could have that wrong. These guys will correct me if I do. It gets rid of Part B of the assault weapons ban. Now, we had 58 legislators who sent a letter to the Attorney General. A letter? You think the Attorney General is influenced by a letter? You gotta be crazy. She doesn't care about a letter. The only thing that holds force in that building is legislation. And we only have 10 Republicans who will always be there to stand up for a roll call. If you don't have 10%, which is 15 legislators, stand up and say they want a roll call on an amendment, it goes by with a voice vote. No recorded of who was with us and who was against us. Let me tell you who those 10 are. And 2 of them are here today. Jeff Deal and Kevin Kuros. They'll always stand for an amendment vote. Doesn't matter. We deserve a vote. Whether you agree with it or not, we deserve a vote. I don't care how someone votes as much as I care that they refuse to get us votes. Kevin Kuros, Jeff Deal, Shauna O'Connell, Jim Lyons, Mark Lombardo, David DeCoste, Joe McKenna, Nick Boldega, Peter Durant, and Donald Berthume. Those are the 10. This is a numbers game. We need 5 more people that will pledge to always stand up for amendment votes. If these guys aren't your reps, call your rep and say you want them to stand for amendment votes. They just got a 47% raise. They only are required to be in that chamber 1 day a week. I don't know what they're making now. It's going to be close to $100,000. And it's over, depending on how many committees you're on. It varies. Some of them got 87% raises because they're in leadership. And they refuse to stay in that chamber for 1 day out of the week and get you a vote. Take your ratings and do whatever you want with them. Take your endorsements and do whatever you want. There's only 10 people who are with us, period. If their name isn't on this list, then it needs to be. You need to pressure them and tell them you won't support them until they pledge to be in the chamber all day Wednesday when there's a formal session going on and get a vote. I know these guys said they would stand for votes even if it wasn't something they cared about, just because recorded votes are important. They did it under cover of darkness with maybe 5 people in the room. Passed a law that could make you face life in prison. Gun owners need to bring their anger and their upset into the election season and support people that will stand for amendment votes. We're changing mass gun rights survey to make the first question on the survey, will you stand for amendment votes? If they fail that one, they're no good to us on anything. This is not just gun issues. This is spending issues, this is Common Core, you name it. Anything that goes through on a voice vote in here is bad, because we don't know who voted how. It's a numbers game, folks. I need 5 more people. Now, I gave Jared some flyers. We have Mr. Dudley Brown from the National Association for Gun Rights, one of the 2 gun rights organizations that are no compromise. We have to stop compromising. We have to work the numbers, and if they're not with us, they're against us. People stand and tell me, I stand up for the Constitution. That's nice. Will you stand for an amendment vote? Will you get things on the record so we know who's on our side and who's against us? One other thing. Consider this. If your numbers are 1 million, or your numbers are 350,000, or your numbers are 450,000, of how many are pro-gun in this state. Think if every one of us gave $5 to a candidate for Attorney General, or a candidate for State Senate, Stephen Hall. Those numbers are huge. Imagine if a candidate on our side got $2 million overnight because everybody put up $5. It's not that much to ask. And if you have a friend that can't afford it, put up 10. Put up 5 in your friend's name. We don't win unless we start supporting these people and start getting these people on record. I hate to deliver the bad news. We only have 10 on our side, and if we start putting pressure on them, we'll have more, we'll get recorded votes, and we can begin to win. Now, if anyone can make it, next Saturday, Dudley Brown, Kent Steakhouse in Framingham, 12 to 4. We'd love to have you. Dudley has helped pass constitutional carry in a bunch of states recently, and he's not a compromiser. And I forgot to mention this guy right here has a full-time job, 3 kids that get tons of his attention. Every spare minute of time he has, he's acting as the canary in the coal mine and telling us what's coming down bad. We wouldn't be here without a guy like him. Thank you so much, Jared. And if you can donate to us or you want to be a volunteer, we also have a special state senate election going on in Middlesex and Worcester County, which is up in the Fitchburg area. If you're anywhere near Worcester, there. Just. Anywhere near Worcester. Got battery problems. Anywhere near Worcester, They're looking for volunteers. Dean Tran for State Senate. It's the seat that was vacated by Jennifer Flanagan, right? Is that the name? He sent back my gun rights survey in less than 45 minutes. And he got everything right. And my survey is tough. It asks things like, will you vote to repeal, this 2014 gun bill, which was a bad gun bill? So this is how we win. We get behind, we can win these seats one at a time. A lot of people say we can't win in Massachusetts. No, you win one at a time. One seat over there, one seat over there, one seat up in Middlesex and Worcester, and we can start to turn the tide, but we need people to remember at election time. That's what mass gun rights is about. We want to tie legislative season to election season and start to change the people in that building, because if we leave the same old people in that building, we're going to keep getting the same old over and over again. Thank you very much.